Hello everybody, Hypermariosunshine here, and, well, this is the end of the year, and I got us ourselves a very special video. As you can see, I am going to talk about, and I did explain about this in, my Pokemon, not my Pokemon Sword and Shield review, Super Mario RPG and Animal Crossing videos. I was going to do a special end of the year, end of the decade review of, basically my favorite games for the year, my personal favorites, and some honorable mentions. So, yeah, let's begin with 2010. I was 11 years old at the time. I turned 11 in that year, but I was mainly 10 throughout most of it. And that year we had Super Mario Galaxy 2, and I picked that as my game of the year for that year. I basically looked back at every single year from 2010 to 2019 and decided which games I liked the most from that year. Most of them are basically Nintendo or PC ones. I do have honorable mentions for Microsoft or Sony based games, but yes, let's begin. So Galaxy 2 is pretty obvious, honestly. My thoughts on Galaxy 2 was it's pretty good. I prefer back then. I used to prefer this game over Galaxy 1, but then I kind of recently shifted more towards Galaxy 1. Also, I'm going by release dates for when it came out. Here, also some honorable mention here in the United States. So, Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, even though they came out in 2009, they were released in the United States in 2010. But I still don't think it does. Super Mario Galaxy 2 edges out Heart Gold Soul Silver just by like a tad bit. I didn't put it here to mention it, but yeah, Galaxy 2 very obvious winner. Very good game. Loved it as a whole. Definitely a huge improvement over Galaxy in terms of like the overworld, but it definitely felt more linear compared to Galaxy 1, and didn't have that kind of like high stakes that Galaxy 1 had too as well, with Rosalina and the Lumas and whatnot, and her backstory. So it didn't really have that kind of seriousness that Galaxy 1 had, but it was still pretty good. Definitely didn't really play other games from any other companies. I was still a rather young kid, so I never really got to experience any other games. Since I grew up a lot in Nintendo, but I could respect someone's opinion if they believe something else is better. Also, I need to play some music in the background so I could get into the mood. Anyways, moving on to 2011, we have The Legend of Zelda and Pokemon Black and White. So in my opinion, even though nowadays I grew a lot of love for the Gen 5 games, like probably for like the rest of the half of the decade, I pretty much have been enjoying these games. Black 2 and White 2 get edged out by Skyward Sword. Now, I know Skyward Sword is very controversial, since people don't like the design of the game and also, like, the motion controls, but I think here it edges out. This game is probably it's my first completed Zelda game, honestly. It's the first Zelda game I've ever beaten, because I tried beating Wind Waker, I tried beating Link to the Past, I tried beating Minish Cap, none of it didn't work, so I made a bet with my uncle, and he told me to finish this game in 5 days or less, and I would get anything I want. I told him I wanted a 3DS XL, and guess what? I did win that new 3DS XL, but it wasn't the new 3DS XL I expected. Actually, but before we could do that, let me get all of my DSs, all my 3DSs that I got from winning. Well, not from winning, but from basically just, either getting them from a present or getting them one of them was from a bet, but most of them I got from, just saving up money and whatnot. So, obviously my first 3DS, the black small one, I used to have a blue one, but that one broke down, and my uncle got me this black one, the same uncle that made a bet with me, so the new 3DS was announced, and I was like, I want that. I want the new 3DS, which is this one over here. Except since it got heated up during the summer, this color kind of peeled up. I actually like it this way. It has like a nice black and red now, as you can see. But yeah, my uncle was like, all right, if you beat Skyward Sword, you get this game. You get the system. So, I didn't get this, actually. I got this. A regular 3DS XL, and as you can see, it has like a little Mario thing on it. So yeah, I still, I wasn't like, I kind of got a little pissed because, he kind of because it was my fault because I didn't say it correctly. And finally, I got this, my final new 3D. Well, it's a new 2DS XL, and I love it. It's probably my favorite. Something's a little wrong with the SD card, like it doesn't read it properly, so I have to like turn it off and on. But yeah, that's where I usually record my 3DS games nowadays. Anyways, continuing on with Skyward Sword, I love the entire lore of Skyward Sword. I didn't really have much trouble with the game, honestly, when it came to the controls either. I really enjoyed the controls, actually. And in my opinion, it actually is the best Zelda boss as well, Galactos. It's the most satisfying boss in the game. You know, the one with like the mini swords and like it just swings at you. You could take off one of the swords and just start slashing him with it. It's honestly one of the most fun bosses I've ever faced, and it's the best in the series in my opinion. Definitely a top 5 Zelda game for me. Maybe top 3. Anyways, 2012. Alright, so I was like, oh, Black 2 and White 2, easy. But then I remembered what Reggie said. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. And yeah, so I basically like forgot about Animal Crossing for a second, despite the fact that, because I always thought it came out in 2013 or 2014 for some reason. But no, it came out 2012. Like, this game's almost 8 years old. And yeah, so I was basically dead on 50-50 with this, because Black 2 and White 2 are my favorite Pokemon games. And I grew up with Crystal, I grew up with the Gen 4 games, but this honestly took the cake for me. Black 2 and White 2. It had like the best gameplay out of all Pokemon games in my opinion. Definitely loved all the things you can do for the side stuff, catching all the legendaries. It had probably the best challenges out of all the game. So yeah, and it had a hard and easy difficulty mode, by the way. This game literally had an unlocked hard mode. So yeah, everything was a lot harder. So yes, I love this game. I would probably Let's Play it one day, but we already did a Pokemon Let's Play, so I might save it for another day. But yeah, I couldn't really give it to any of them, so Black 2, White 2 is definitely the best Pokemon game, and Animal Crossing New Leaf was stupidly addicting. And yeah, Animal Crossing New Leaf is stupidly addicting fun. Like, what else could I say about it? Besides, you know, how stupidly addicting it was. I can't wait for Animal Crossing New Horizons, that's for sure. I hope it's even more addicting. That might be my game of the year for next year, for all we know. Unless there's Breath of the Wild 2 or something, I don't know. Anyways, moving on, let's scroll down to the next few, and that's 2013 to 2015. Obviously, you can see a little bit of the spoilers for what else is there, but allow me to explain those later. So yeah, 2013 was a pretty decent year. I didn't really enjoy much of the games, honestly, but I picked Wind Waker HD, although there was some games like Super Mario 3D World, which I didn't really like its linearness, but I do love that Rosalina is playable. She is one of my favorite Mario characters. I also had Bioshock Infinite, which I played for a bit. Didn't really enjoy as much as the other Bioshock games that I play later on. Well, some of these games I'm basically ranking them by year, so if I play the game later on, I'm putting them in that year. But yeah, Pikmin 3 was kind of like a letdown compared to Pikmin 2 and 1. I love Pikmin 2. And also, Tomb Raider came out and Fire Emblem Awakening. I played those later on too. They're very fun, but I don't think they really compared to the amazingness that is Wind Waker. Wind Waker is definitely in my top 3 as well for Zelda. Top 5, top 3. Anyways, 2014 was a pretty meh year, in my opinion. Honorable mention to Smash 4. I stood up for this game all night on October 3rd. I was staying at my aunt's house, and my cousin woke me up, and he was like, he gave me my 3DS with it fully downloaded, and because I couldn't, you know, download it by then, and since he was awake at that point, he did it for me. So shout out to my cousin. But it was mainly Smash 3DS. I didn't Smash Wii U. I can't, because like even though I played 3DS a lot, because like I went out and I played locally. But I did play a lot of the Wii U, but I'm going to give Smash 3DS a little bit more because of that specialness that I had with it when it came out. And also because of like that huge ESRB leak. I do follow leaks, by the way, so like, you know, which ones are real, which ones are fake, you know, all the sources, like give my own thoughts on it. But it's not really my main thing. I just do it for a little more fun. I don't do any like crazy like, oh, this 4chan leak. I just like, like to give it lax and like let the people that are more trustworthy handle it, like Papa Gino's. But yeah, I gave it to Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I remember getting this, and my friend who was definitely into Shantae was telling me to get it too. And I love Shantae now. It's one of my favorite indie series. I tried out the older Shantae game that came out back then, and it was okay. But this is definitely a huge improvement. Definitely the best Shantae game, and I do love me some Castlevania, Metroidvania-based stuff. Nowadays, I've been getting into that stuff, and I did beat Castlevania 1 recently. It's my first ever Castlevania game that I beat. I do want to beat Symphony of the Night and Rando of Blood, but those aren't on the Switch yet, and I can't really play on my PlayStation 4, so... Anyways, definitely an amazing introduction for me for Metroidvania games. And I definitely really like the expanded on it too, compared to Risky's Revenge, and definitely put a lot of ideas. And Wait For It definitely hit this out of the park. Compared to Half Genie Hero, which I did Let's Play on, this game's a lot longer and definitely a lot different compared to the other Shantae games, because you didn't have the transformations. You were doing everything with other things, which is pretty surprising. Anyways, let's move on. We got 2015, and we have... Well, I never played the original one on the Wii, but I gave it to Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. So I never played the original one on the Wii. Even though if I did count the original one on the Wii, which I do have on Virtual Console, I wouldn't put as my game of the year for 2011, maybe like a third or fourth placer. But damn, was this game pretty good. It was a new 3DS port, and it was great. I definitely enjoyed it, and it made me fall in love with the entire series. Like, I was watching people talk about it, like how amazing it is with the story, and with the story and gameplay, and I fell in love with it instantly. I was also very surprised they managed to fit this game in a new 3DS. Like, this game's huge, and I'm surprised that it all managed to get in. Other honorable mentions go to Mario Maker and Splatoon. We're very close, but seconds, but probably Rocket League, maybe. I did really like Rocket League. I was like addicted to it for some time, and I was playing it like a lot. But yeah, well, I can't wait for the re-release, the definitive version on the Switch, the HD remaster. But yeah, moving on, let's scroll down to 2016 to 2018. As you can see, there's a little spoiler for the 2019 one as well. But, yes, we have right here 2016. Honestly, a pretty good year, but I gotta give it to Stardew Valley. Now, here's why I gave it to Stardew Valley instead of Overwatch or Uncharted 4, which are very close honorable mentions. They're like second and third place easily. Both are really fun in their own ways, but I feel like and have their exciting gameplay. But I feel like Overwatch kind of fell off a bit because the devs decided, let's focus on making a sequel rather than focusing on the current game. I felt like that kind of ruined the whole aspect of Overwatch 1. But I still enjoy Overwatch, but it's not, and I used to upload a lot of my play the games, but yeah, I got both PS4 and PC versions, but yeah, they're pretty alright overall, but I just hope that they focused more on this game rather than focusing on a sequel, because for all we know, maybe they might not pay attention to Overwatch 2 and then make an Overwatch 3. Anyways, also, similarly, like, since they did focus on the gamer lore for Overwatch, it kind of felt like a letdown overall, but it's still a pretty good game overall. And as for Uncharted 4, it felt a little off compared to the prequels. I did play the prequels along with my father, who loved the Uncharted series. I remember coming back home from school, and every time he came back home from work, he would always play it. And I definitely enjoyed watching him play, and if he ever needed help, I always, tried my hand at it. And I love the Uncharted series, but I feel like the fourth one was kind of a letdown compared to 1 through 3, in my opinion. I don't know why, it just didn't seem like it had as much of, that kind of drive that the other 3 did. But I definitely give it a close second place. But Stardew Valley was definitely that game that I needed, since Animal Crossing Wii U was never going to happen, and Welcome Amiibo didn't come out at this point, I believe. I think it came out 2017? Or 26? I think it came out 2016, I'm not sure. Welcome Amiibo, but Yeah, definitely the game that I needed. Since I do love those kinds of games like Stardew Valley, The Sims, Animal Crossing, etc. But yeah, definitely had a lot of fun and expanded on the style of games like Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon. So definitely got to give that to Stardew Valley. Anyways, moving on to 2017, and oh my god, this is the best year by far, in my opinion. Uh, Best year overall. There was none of them were weirdly like my game of the decade though, despite this being like the best overall year of gaming this decade. You had games like Odyssey, my game of the year, which is like first place. Then Breath, like these are all stupidly close together. Like they're like maybe 0.01% away from each other. Breath of the Wild being second, Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia being third. That's why I have both of them, all three of them pictured, because those were like my top three games. Like they were easily my most replayed games of that year. And these are all easily top three. Many close ones as well, like Samus Metroid Returns, Splatoon 2, Crash Insane Trilogy. I didn't get to play that one yet, but I did have a try it out with a friend who had it. Definitely enjoyed it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Nier Automata. I didn't get to try that either. I tried it at a friend's place as well, and I watched him play it. Definitely seems like a lot of fun. I hope to get it one day, for myself. There was also, hold on. I saved all the games because like I'm gonna get them all stuck in my head. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Definitely preferred those over Sun and Moon. They had a lot more things, especially the Manti surfing, which was really fun. That was like the kind of Pokemon game I was hoping we'd get, and yeah, definitely enjoyed it. We also got Sonic Mania and a lot more, so definitely one of the best years for gaming as a whole. And we also got Persona 5, which I want to try as well. There's a lot of games I want to try, so hopefully I get to. 2018, probably like the second or third best year overall. There was a lot of games that I loved that I would have probably put, maybe, but I doubt that they would have taken it. This includes God of War, Octopath, and the Spider-Man game for the PS4. All those were really good, and I did try out the Spider-Man one with my uncle, who I got the 3DS from, but definitely enjoyed it. Wish I could have gotten it, but obviously I can't really get my hands on my PS4 because it's always in my sister's room. Anyways, I hope I do get them sooner or later in 2020. But this easily goes to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I do have, a soundtrack of my favorite music from the game playing in the background. But yeah, Ultimate definitely like one of the hypest games of this year, in my opinion. Probably the hypest, but I don't think it's my game of the year or not my game of the year, game of the decade. Maybe third or fourth, maybe, but I don't know. Like if I had to pick between all of them, I'll say in a bit who I do pick. And finally, 2019, the final year of the decade. And it's this game right here that is... Oh. Let me... let's just do this. There we go. That is Fire Emblem Three Houses, my game of the year for 2019, and I decided on that. I gotta say, Fire Emblem Three Houses is... Well, this year was very lackluster, in my opinion, for gaming. It was definitely pretty okay. There's nothing that didn't stuck out. Like, that was like, wow, there was that one special, there's like all these cool games. And, there was Death Stranding, but I don't like that, honestly. There were some other games like Sekiro I heard was really good. There was quite a few other good games. There's a lot of good indie games, too. I never really got to try that out either. They weren't really my cup of tea. But I'm going to give my game of the year to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Luigi's Mansion 3 was definitely a close second place runner-up here, and there's nothing really much special about this year, except for those two. Sure, there you have like games like Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they're alright. Like, I do give them like a mid-tier in Pokemon games, but not really like enough to really be that game of the year kind of capability that Black to White Black 2 and White 2 were. Excuse me for that, I burped. But easily I have to give this to Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's the first Fire Emblem game that actually, took it pretty easily for like a game of a year. Now let's get talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses. Easily one of my favorite Fire Emblem games. I can't wait if they ever make an Alive remake with Hector, Lynn, and Eliwood, and Roy and Lilina, all those amazing lords. I'm not sure if Lilina counts. I hope she does when they make the remake or whatever. I love Three Houses. It had definitely amazing voice acting, amazing story. Loved how this was basically what Fate should have been, with its many different paths. And definitely really good in terms of its gameplay and customization of your characters and the supports between characters as well. Gotta say, one of my favorite characters comes from that game: Dorothea, Manuela, Shamir, Dimitri. Definitely a top 3 lord in my opinion. I love him. Not up there with Hector though. Hector's definitely still my favorite, but yeah, definitely gotta give Dimitri best lord in that game. Like, I was team Black Eagles all the way, but then once I played the Blue Lions route, I just shifted gates because I saw that Edelgard was definitely inferior in every way. So enough about the game and with the characters. Let's talk about the game itself. I hope that they do something like this later on. Like, maybe try putting some improvements. I do love that Koei Tecmo and Intelligent Systems work together. I do love this partnership. I do hope that this continues, honestly, because this is a really, really well-made game. I do wish that it had a little more graphic-wise, but I don't care, honestly. This game was addicting. I was up playing this on launch for quite a long time, and geez, this game was amazing. And honestly, if I had to pick out of all of these games from Galaxy 2, Skyward Sword, Black 2, White 2, Animal Crossing, etc., etc., Smash Ultimate, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Overwatch, Uncharted, Stardew Valley, I'm gonna have to give it. Oh yeah, Shantae, Smash 4, and Wind Waker. I'm gonna have to give it to Fire Emblem Three Houses as my game of the decade. Now, I never really had an enjoyment this inner Shadows of Valentia and Odyssey and Breath of the Wild would probably be third, fourth, and second, and Ultimate would probably be a fifth, with Animal Crossing and Black 2 White 2 being a sixth and seventh. But honestly, this game kind of took, because unlike Shadows of Valentia, where I kind of got into it, Baku, I feel for him, what he's going through, and all being this amazing character. I love the relationships between Clive, Matilda, Claire. I love Gray and all the other villagers. I love Celica's side with May and Bowie and Jenny and Saber and etc., etc., and Sonia with her relationship with Jeddah. I just felt it didn't have as much as that crazy impact that Three Houses had with its characters and its story. When you see Dimitri break down when Edelgard reveals herself as, the main perpetrator, what he thought of all along, you just see all this crazy stuff going on. And get into the characters and just their stories, who they are as people. And you just think that I know this person now, they're real people, even though, they're in a video game. You just get to understand and feel for them, and that's what I really loved about Three Houses. It really, when I saw stuff happen in, the supports or in the story, I legitimately felt heartbroken, or surprised, or, happy for those people in the game, and I just gotta say, it's my favorite game of this decade. And, yeah, so Fire Emblem Three Houses, my favorite game of the decade, and I can't wait to see what 2020 through 2029 bring us to. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the New Year's, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys want to tell me your games for each year of the decade, let me know. Tell me your game of the decade. If you guys agree with me, disagree, if you guys have any thoughts, I definitely wanted everything to be civil. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching once more, and yeah. Hope you guys have a happy new year. Love my videos with that like button. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And yes, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in 2020. Peace out.